You've probably heard of Python, right? Since it first showed up on the scene back in 1991, it has just taken over. It's become this incredibly important language, not just for the really cool stuff like data science and machine learning, but for, well, pretty much all software development. From university labs to the biggest tech companies, I mean, seriously, it's everywhere. So that begs the question, right? How on earth did one programming language get so popular in so many different areas? I mean, think about it. If you're working with data or you're a developer, you have to know the answer to this. It's kind of crucial. Okay, so let's get into it. What is Python's secret sauce? Well, a huge part of its success, maybe the biggest part, comes down to how it solves this one massive, really expensive problem that you see in a ton of companies. It's something often called the two-language problem. So picture this. In a lot of companies, you've got development split into these two different worlds. You've got one team, right? Maybe they're the researchers, the data scientists, the ones who are awesome at coming up with and testing out new ideas. And then you've got a totally separate team of software engineers, and their job is to take those ideas and build them into a real final product that can scale up. But here's the kicker. These two teams, they're often not even writing in the same language. And that's exactly where the split creates a huge problem. See, on the research and prototyping side, you've got languages like R or MATLAB. They're fantastic for that kind of exploratory work. But then, for the big, heavy-duty production systems, you're looking at languages like Java or C++. So what happens? The brilliant prototype that was built in R has to be thrown out and totally rewritten from scratch in Java. And let me tell you, that process is a nightmare. It's slow, it's super expensive, and it's just begging for bugs and errors to creep in.
And this is where Python comes in and just completely changes the game. It basically steps onto the scene and asks the obvious question. Why are we doing this to ourselves? Why maintain two separate development environments, two completely different tool sets when you could just have one? Python is that one. It's perfect for the research and prototyping stage, and it's powerful and stable enough for the final production system. It's the bridge that connects those two worlds.
All right, so we've got a handle on why Python is such a big deal, but what is it really? Like, what are its fundamental building blocks? What's under the hood that makes it so flexible? Let's break down its DNA a little bit. Okay, first thing you need to know, Python is an interpreted language. Now, what does that even mean? Well, it's pretty simple, actually. The Python interpreter just reads and runs your code one line at a time. There's no separate, clunky compilation step. This makes it amazing for interactive computing and for whipping up quick little programs or scripts. But hey, don't let that scripting label fool you. This thing is an absolute workhorse, more than capable of building huge, serious software. Second big idea, Python is strongly typed. And this is basically a built-in safety net. What it means is that every single thing in Python, a number or a string of text, you name it, has a very specific type, and Python is really strict about it. It's not going to try and guess what you meant if you try to mix a number and a word together. And trust me, that prevents so many potential headaches down the road. Here's a perfect example. Let's say you try to add the text 5, like in quotation marks, to the number 5. In some other languages, who knows what you'd get? Maybe it guesses you meant to add numbers and gives you 10, or maybe it thinks you want to stick text together and gives you 5, 5. It's a total gamble. Python? No way. It just stops and says, hey, I don't know what you want me to do here, and gives you an error. It forces you to be clear about what you want, and that simple thing saves you from a world of pain and hidden bugs. Okay, now this next one is a little different. It's one of Python's most defining features. It actually uses white space, the indentation at the start of a line, to structure the code. So instead of using curly braces or end keywords like a lot of other languages, the actual visual layout of your code defines how it works. I know, it sounds a little weird at first, but what it does is it forces you to write clean, organized, readable code. And honestly, once you get used to it, it's something most developers end up absolutely loving. So you've got this interpreted nature, the strong typing, the weird but clean indentation, and these aren't just a random collection of features. They all flow from one central core idea, a philosophy really, that gives Python its amazing consistency and power.
And that core philosophy is beautifully simple. In Python, everything is an object. And I mean everything. A number is an object, a string of text is an object, a list of items is an object, heck, even a function is an object. Think of it like this. Every single piece of your program gets put into its own little conceptual box called an object. And because they're all objects, You can do similar things with all of them, which is what makes the language so unbelievably consistent and powerful.
All right, let's do a quick recap of Python's core DNA. What have we learned? 1. It's interpreted, which means it's fast and interactive to work with. 2. It's strongly typed, which makes your code safer and way more predictable. 3. It uses that indentation syntax, which forces your code to be clean and readable. And 4. The big one, that core philosophy that everything is an object, which is the key to its incredible consistency and flexibility. So let's bring this all back. What does this actually mean for you, the developer or the analyst? It means you have one tool, a single language that's relatively easy to pick up, it's safe to use, and it's powerful enough to handle pretty much anything you can throw at it. We're talking everything from a tiny script to clean up some data all the way to a massive web application. It completely solves that two-language problem we talked about by being the one language that can do the whole job from start to finish. So now you know, you get the why. You understand what makes Python tick and why it's become such a giant in the tech world. The only question left is the fun one. Now that you know what this amazing, versatile tool can do, what are you going to build with it?